Now I'm getting ready to show you how I prepare an 11-pound brisket for smoking. First, I clean the brisket. As you can see, this is the flat, and this is the point. The point is where all the marbling and all the fat is, where most of the flavor is. So what I do is I try to trim down a little of this fat. This fat right here, as you can see, is kind of hard. And I don't really care for that, but it's up to the individual. So what I start doing is I take my knife and I start cutting. Start trimming off just a little bit, as much as I can, of the hard fat trimmings. And I will save it to shield a little bit of it in the pan. Turn this around so I can add more of this hard part. You can see I have to saw into it because that's how hard it is. It's beautiful. Get off some of this, just clean it up a little bit. Clean it up. Still want to keep some of the fat because it's going to be a long, slow cook. I'm going to trim off some of this fat. You can see how thick this is right here. In the end, some of this will be the burnt end. I just want to trim some of it down so it won't be so fatty. Trim it up some more. Okay, this is about as much as I'm going to trim off of it since it's such a small brisket. Like I said, it's only 11 pounds. I'm going to get my pan. And I'm going to slay it in my pan. I'm using a pan because I do not want the fire to flare up overnight. So I have my handy dandy tool here. My injector that I use to inject all types of meat, especially something that's so thick and I want more flavor, impart more flavor into the brisket. This right here is nothing but good old-fashioned beef stock. Use the injector and just inject some of the beef stock in various places of the meat. Once again, this is purely up to you. This is what I prefer to do after years and years of trial and error. I find as though it gives it a little bit more flavor, especially with a low and slow cook. You can put as much of it in it as you would like, or as little. Totally up to you. gonna be enough. Okay. Then I take the remainder and just rub it in. Just rub it in. It's actually gonna help use it as a glue for when I put my spices on. The spices that I like to use is just cracked black pepper, kosher salt, and a little bit of granulated garlic. And I just liberally sprinkle it on. It's a thick cut of meat. It can take it. Put it all around it, all sides. Flip it over. And I do the fat side. Just press it in some, and I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes. Sit for a few minutes so it can soak in. Temperature is steady 250 degrees, just where I want it. Now to place it on the grill. All right, it is on the grill. Like I said, I kept it in the pan so I won't have any drippings, so they won't flare up during the cook. It is now 9:22, and I will see you in about 10-12 hours. Until next time, good night. Okay, so I wrapped it. As you can see, still have its beautiful color. So I'm going to temp it right now to see where we're at. And I'm tipping it at the flat and in the point. Right now we're at 209. I'm going to take it off. That's good. This is 208. So the temperature is good. I'm going to take it off now so it can rest. And it's going to, the rest of the temperature is going to come up and it'll be perfect. See you soon. Okay, the brisket is done. It rested for 2 hours. So now I'm going to slice into it just to show you exactly how beautiful it is now. Look at that. You can see the juices that's coming out of it. Beautiful pink. Beautiful. Nice and juicy. Tender. And what I normally do is cut off the point, separate the point from the flat, take the top part off of the flat, cut into it a little bit more, and then I slice it again. This is how I make my onions. I slice it, make some nice little cubes. It doesn't have to be uniform. Just however you want it. This is just how I prefer to do it. I'll take a separate pan. Once I cut into it, cut cubes. It's so gentle, it's so tender, so tender. Most people would be intimidated by brisket. As long as you just be patient with it, develop your own flavors, you'll be amazed of how wonderful it'll come out and how luscious and beautiful and tasting it really is. In the pan. Okay, once I separated it and put it in the cubes, I put it in a smaller pan. You can add more seasoning on it if you would like, but I just prefer to put some barbecue sauce. This is my homemade barbecue sauce that I make. Put it on there, nice and liberal. Then I just stir it around a little bit, just get a little bit more coated. And once I put it back on the grill, all it's gonna do is just caramelize some more. Now off to the grill. Okay, I made it back to the grill. And as you can see, I took the plate sealer out. And I still have the same coals and the same pieces of wood I had when I first started last night. So I take the pan and put it right on top of the grill and let it do its thing. See you in a bit. Okay, now it's time to check. You see the pit degrees is at 390, which is okay. And as you can see, it's caramelizing. This is how I make my bolognese. So there you go, from beginning to end. Enjoy.